So I wrote a series called Star Wars Invasion. I wrote some multi-award-winning series. I killed Boba Fett. I turned my son into a Jedi. He's used to that now. And then I got a bit of notoriety on that, and I ended up working on a book called The Authority. If you don't know The Authority, these are like superheroes who are hardcore left-wing. They have a Superman and a Batman who are married to each other. They're the sort of people that go into Chechnya and just kick out the Russians. And that's how they fight crime. So that was a very good gig. And then I got a gig on the worldwide #1 best-selling comic, Injustice: Gods Among Us. This is a story about Superman becoming a dictator of the world. And technically, it was not supposed to be successful. It was supposed to be tied into a computer game. And these never do well. But I really wanted to tell big stories. I was hired for 16 issues, 16 weeks. And it's now in year 4. But it's okay, I've quit now. Quit while you're ahead. So I got to tell stories in this that people who don't know comics may not understand. These kids, comic books aren't for kids anymore. There's a thing that says comics aren't just for kids. Generally, comics aren't for kids at all. I will not let my kids read half my comics. Injustice, I've had Green Lantern fly into the United States and fly into Congress and tell them to stop being idiots over the budget during the government shutdown. I've had them fly into Syria. I've had Wonder Woman in Mogadishu refugee camps, killing generals who are raping women. We've had Superman and Wonder, like people in capes, tights, yeah? Doing stuff like that, which is fun. But what happened with Injustice is it was weekly, which meant they didn't have time to edit me, which was fantastic. So like, why did 2 of our female superheroes just marry each other, Tom? Moving on, next week, good times. So yeah, and then I got to work on a book called Earth 2, where I got to create a black Superman and a Filipino Aquawoman. And now we'll take a little bit of a detour. I'm just checking the time. We don't have long, it sucks. So back when I was writing Star Wars, I went over to San Diego Comic-Con for the first time ever. If you haven't been to San Diego Comic-Con, it's a kilometer. She's trying to get your attention. Just here. She's here. San Diego Comic-Con is a kilometer long. It's 140,000 people, a kilometer long and double story. And you can't move or breathe. And all of your heroes are there. And it's terrifying. And when I first got there, I walked onto the floor, and that first image I showed you of Star Wars, Luke Skywalker doing this, that was from the floor to the ceiling when I walked in. I was like, okay. And I was sharing cover artists with Joss Whedon at the time, so I got to talk to him about that. And I'm wearing my little backpack going, hi, Joss. And I was terrified, absolutely terrified to talk to anybody there. But I did talk to a guy called Joe Kelly, who, if you don't know Joe Kelly, he's about to do a movie called I Kill Giants, based on one of his comics, which I personally love. It made me cry on a plane in the middle of 3 people, 3 total strangers. But I did get to talk to this guy called Joe Kelly, and he told me what he knew at that point in time was, that's great that you're writing Star Wars, Tom, but if I knew then what I know now, I'd be creating my own work. And that's what you should be doing too. Now, he knows a little bit about that because he and a bunch of his friends created a guy called Ben 10, which is now a multi-billion-dollar franchise. They also created Big Hero 6. So they know a little bit, yeah? So I took his advice, which he wasn't expecting, and 2 years later I came back and I handed him my book, The Deep.